self-direction. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Well, we're with today's author now, and she writes a book. It's called The Adventures of Elliot Parks. It's actually a series of books. She comes from Norwood, Massachusetts. She's Maria Lisa Hartgrove. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, thanks for joining us. I know you were fighting the traffic to get here.
I was fighting it. And then I had a wardrobe malfunction. My button came off in the car, so lots of things happened.
But you fixed it because your button's back.
I did. Yeah, I know. It's magic.
Well, let's talk about your books now. These are for children.
They are. They're for beginning readers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great little series. It's a teaching series. First book in the series is about responsibility. It's about pet owning.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I have a pet, a dog named Cooper. So.
Well, Elliot wants a puppy,
Mm-hmm.
but his mom thinks it's too much work and he's not going to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to pet sit for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny book. And I'm not going to tell you the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going
we
to
don't
tell you
want to
about
ruin
it.
the story because
No.
the kids at home that are watching.
No, but it teaches
want the book.
responsibility. The whole series is a great little series.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many books are actually in the series?
12.
Wow, 12.
12.
And people can find the books at the bookstore, online.
Both.
And your website is?
ElliotParks.com.
ElliotParks.com. Now, let me ask you about inspiration for these stories. Are they, do you make them up completely, or are you getting inspiration from somewhere?
Well, you know what? The first little book was just Elliot Wants a Puppy. It was so easy because every child wants a pet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. I go into classrooms and I read and I say, how many kids here want a puppy? The whole class, me, I do. But I can't have one. My mom says no.
I know how they feel. You know why? Growing up in my house, we weren't allowed to have any pets because my dad said no, and his reasons were because they bring germs in the house. Isn't that right, Dad?
No, my father said no.
Your father said no. Yeah, he was there
That's
too.
it.
But yeah, so I couldn't have a puppy until now. My wife finally convinced me to get a dog, and I love the dog. It's kind of interesting.
Do you clean up after the puppy?
When I can, I clean up.
Well.
But it's fun because you know what? Spending time with the dog, it makes me really enjoy animals, and now I kind of don't like people. No, they're okay. They're okay. But so the first story is about how a kid wants a dog. And
Yeah, it's about Elliot wanting a puppy, and his parents. He's only 8 years old, and they think he's a little too young for the responsibility.
Right.
So the big word in the book is responsibility, and he learns, what it's all about. It's not just taking the dog and playing with it, there's feeding it, taking it out for a walk, and cleaning up after it. And I introduce Elliot to the scooper in this series. He doesn't know what that is. He said, it's a very funny story. So that was a great way to introduce him.
Did you introduce the fact that sometimes when you work for a few days and when you come home, the dog's sleeping in your bed with its head on your pillow? Now let me ask you, how did you get into writing children's books?
You know what? I wrote this story a long time ago. So and I just kept adding to it. As a kid, I loved to write, and I wrote a cartoon for school one time. It was winning a bike. You could win a bike, and I said, you know what? I know I can win this bike. And at the last minute, I didn't pass it in, and I kept kicking myself, saying, why didn't I do that? Anyway, so I wrote Elliot. Didn't give him a background. He had no name. My family came along, and I decided to sort of kind of. The kid he's based after my family. I guess I based him on the kids. Yeah. And my husband said, take those stories down and get them published. They're great little stories. And that's the way it happened. I wrote all the time as a kid, wrote everything down. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we want to thank you for coming down. We want to tell everybody to check out The Adventures of Elliot Parks. You can find it online and the bookstores. You said they have it at like Barnes & Noble and...
You can go Barnes & Noble online at Barnes & Noble. You can go, they were at Walmart for a little while online. I don't know if they still have them. But if you Googled Maria Lisa Hartgrove, there's a, you'll think I'm in
Now, before we go, just tell me, do you do any book readings for kids?
All the time.
And where can someone find you doing that?
You know what? I just recently in Norwood opened a little shop. The shop is taken from one of the pages. I wrote it in this series, another book called A New Bike for Caitlin. So Caitlin gets bikes. She lives with her dad, and the bike is she gets it from the store called Care to Share. It's about donating and giving to those who are less fortunate than you. So she gets a little bike there. And I opened a store called the Care to Share in Norwood. So I do readings in there. So I'll either go to the schools, or they'll come to me, or it's on my on the website. You can look at the calendar and see where I'll be. Or you can come right into the store and meet me there, and there are times that I'll read right in there.
I might have to bring my nephew down
Yeah,
to meet
it's
you.
lots of
All right,
fun.
everybody, this was Maria Lisa Hartgrove. We'll be right back right after this.